I'm Chef Patrick Mould, and this episode is brought to you by Linn Peanut Oil, the #1 brand of peanut oil in the U.S.
This is the Ultimate Tailgate Chef. I'm Stephen Linn, and today I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana, the heart of Cajun country. My friend Chef Patrick Mould, he's going to do a little crawfish etouffee, a classic dish. You'll find it in the FOX Sports Tailgating Handbook. What page was that?
I think it's page 72.
In the handbook. It'll be there. I appreciate you letting me put it in that. I'm going to appreciate more when I eat it. What are we doing here?
Well, we started off this dish, Stephen, with a stick of butter, and I'm sauteing down some chopped onions. And I want to just
stir those around,
yeah,
just want a little brown.
Right, let those brown, and I'm going to go ahead and create a little roux.
Now, that's one of those words that if you don't cook this much, it's a little intimidating. What is it exactly?
Well, it's just basically oil or butter and flour, and it's going to be the thickening agent for the sauce. In the early days of Cajun cooking, my mama, for instance, would just have put butter, onions, and the crawfish tails. When chefs got involved, we decided to get, fancy it up a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, and create this sauce that we could also hold and then add the tails to. So we're going to create a sauce, and the flour and the butter is going to act as the thickening agent for the sauce.
Now, a lot of these ingredients you find, obviously Cajun and Creole. What is the difference really? I mean, you get a lot of people think Cajun is pretty much all of it, but they're really distinctly different types of cuisine.
Cajun style of cooking is a much more rustic style of cooking. The Cajuns came from Acadie in Nova Scotia. They were farmers. They worked the land, so their style of cooking was very rustic, a lot of one-pot dishes. The Creoles of New Orleans were a much more sophisticated group of individuals. You had French influence, Spanish, Italian, African, Native American, a melting pot of different cultures that created this very sophisticated style of cooking because it was based on the European preparation of food. But we all use, the same ingredients down here: shrimp from the Gulf, fresh vegetables from the garden, alligator, shrimp. So again, when you think of it, you think of Cajun, rustic, country style of cooking, Creole, sophisticated city style.
That's city fancy chef cooking.
Fancy chef cooking. I've added some fresh thyme. I'm going to add a little chopped garlic.
And then all the measurements of the exact amounts here you'll find at theultimatetailgater.com. Just click on the show notes for this episode. We've got the recipes up there for this and several others of Pat's dishes.
I've added a little paprika and some Cajun seasoning, Cajun spice. I'm going to spice it up with a little hot sauce. Then I have a stock. I have a chicken broth. You can use your shrimp stock. And this is going to make our sauce. So I'm going to allow this to simmer and thicken.
You're going to let that simmer for how long?
For a couple of minutes, just until it thickens up.
Starts to thicken. Any more than that, it's going to kind of gum up the dish, right?
Correct. But we're going to, I'm using Louisiana crawfish tails. I've never used Chinese crawfish tails, but Louisiana crawfish tails much better than the imported crawfish tails. They have much more flavor. The Chinese crawfish tails don't have a whole lot of flavor. So we're going to add our Louisiana crawfish tails to our sauce, and then we're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes, and then it's going to be ready.
Good. I'm going to check over on the grill. We've got some grilled vegetables going, and then in a couple of minutes we'll come back and check that then.
Sounds good. That Freedom Grill works nice.
It's been about 10 minutes. This smells delicious. It's all coming together. A little parsley on top to finish it off. Now, if I can't find crawfish tails in Nashville or Lincoln or wherever I am, do I have them shipped in? Do I go and talk to a fishmonger? What's the best way to get crawfish tails?
Check with your local seafood monger, or you can have them shipped from Louisiana. There are several companies that specialize in shipping Louisiana crawfish tails all over the country. If you can't find crawfish tails, this sauce works great with shrimp, chicken, crab meat.
So anything other than a beef or something then? You just want to throw in any kind of fish, anything you like, throw it in, it'll work great.
It'll work great.
Good. Okay, well, let's finish this up here because it looks like we're just about there, and we'll get those vegetables off of the grill.
Wow, that sauce looks great.
So, finish off some of these grilled vegetables.
A little zucchini, a little squash, some fresh asparagus. There you go.
That looks
Crawfish etouffee.
Let's see if it tastes as good as it smells.
If you want, you know, I have a bunch of other recipes, Luana.com. You can get all the tips and techniques on how to do this particular dish.
That's great. The spice in here is perfect.
Again, it's about the flavor first, then the spice has to accent the flavor.
That is delicious. And as you mentioned, that recipe, you can find it at Luana.com. We'll also have it at theultimatetailgater.com. I've got a roux all over me here. Go to theultimatetailgater.com and just click on the show notes for this episode. We have this recipe and some others from Chef. You'll also find other videos, podcasts, tailgating tips. And if you go to atatailgate.com, the website of the American Tailgaters Association, there's even more tailgating information. That's the Ultimate Tailgate Chef for this week. We'll see you next time. I'm going back to the plate. This is great.
Like that spice in there? The spice
Oh, that's
level's
good.
on. Yeah.